Common Council meeting for Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. Let's all please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, call roll, please.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Here.
Alderman Kavieski.
Here.
Alderman Rozak.
Here.
Alderman Zappel.
Here.
Alderman Ellis.
Here.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Here.
Alderman Mulder.
Here. I'd like to move on to item 4, our public hearing. Open the public hearing at this time. The purpose of this is to hear public comments on the Olympia Fields development, proposed land use amendment within Oconomowoc comprehensive plan. Mr. Gallo.
Good evening, Mayor and Common Council members. I'll give a brief introduction for the public hearing this evening. These items are on the agenda later this evening for actual action by the council. Tonight, we're talking about Olympia Fields. It's a rezoning and a plan development change to their plan. What's on the screen is their overview that they supplied to the city several months ago, and tonight all we're talking about is that little red area in the back there. It's actually even smaller than that, but it is a change to this area back there. The general location that we're talking about is 1350 Royal Mile Road. It's the former Olympia Hotel and Conference Center site that has recently been razed. It's just on the west side of Highway 67 there. So previously they supplied a map of the area that they would like to redevelop this site. And you can see right in the center here, there was a little bit of a keyhole, I'll call it, right here that was missing. So right there, that area they did not have under their ownership, and that went out for RFP, and since they were the successful bidder, and that's closing next month, they would like to get out in front of that and get the approvals to change this little area. It's 0.63 acres, so it's a little over a half acre in size, and change the zoning of that area. The address is actually part of 1375 because it was a different parcel than 1350. So this is the updated master plan now, how they would incorporate that new building. They provided this to the city staff to look and show how that 0.63 acres would be incorporated into it. I'll show that. Here was the plan that showed 152 units that was approved by the Common Council. I outlined the first 6 buildings outlined in green. That was 152 buildings, and you can see when we approved it, that one area up here was was shown as being vacant. We kind of knew that something was going to happen there, especially if they were the successful property acquisition of that area. So they showed it on their site plans as being just green space on the plan that went to the Plan Commission and the Common Council. And what we have left over is a piece that is dark brown is the major site. That's high density residential, but with that little area was part of the other property. It's actually shown in red on the comprehensive plan. That is a commercial land use. They would like to change the red to the dark brown so it's consistent. Same thing with our zoning. So this public hearing covers multiple things. It's a zoning change as well. If the comprehensive plan is successful, they would like to change the commercial zoning to the RMH, residential multi-unit high density, to allow the final building to go in. So this would be the updated site plan that would allow for building number 7 to be in that area. I've highlighted building 7 here, and this would amend the plan development now to change the outline of the area, and it would go up to 178 units. So in your packet, there's a ordinance that ties this in to the new plan with a new legal description outlining the entire area. It should be noted that the building number 7 will be identical to the other buildings that were approved as far as architectural style and colors and setbacks. It'll be very similar. So tonight, we're asking to change the existing zoning from general commercial to RMH with a PD overlay. This PD will lock in. It'll increase the number of units from 152 up to 178 maximum units on 16 acres. So it'll be at 11 dwelling units per acre. In the RMH, we do allow up to 12 units per acre. So it is in compliance with the comprehensive plan and the zoning district, what they do allow. Why a PD again? Plan development locks in that site plan that you are all familiar with, but in return, they get some flexibility. They're asking to waive some certain setbacks and reduce parking counts. They are committed, though, to redevelop this blighted area, including the pond shoreline area, and they're cleaning up a lot of easements that go back 30 to 40 years. So the Plan Commission did review this. They held a similar public hearing on September 8th. The Plan Commission then they approved a resolution. That's their duty, is to approve resolutions, but then it comes to this body as an ordinance. They also recommended the rezoning ordinance and they recommended the 2 certified survey maps all in the same evening on September 8th. There is a second public hearing being held right now. And then it is on the Common Council agenda for the land use plan, the rezoning, the PD amendment to allow that extra building, and then the 2 certified survey maps. The certified survey maps just reconfigure to take the 0.63 acres from one, and they put it in with another site. I will be available for questions following the hearing.
Do we have any questions from the public? I have not received any blue cards. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to voice their opinions or comments regarding this public hearing on Olympia Fields? Any comments? Any questions? At this point, we're going to close the public hearing. There are no comments or questions from the audience at this point. Moving on to the next agenda item, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes for September 7th, 2021.
So move. Zaffel. Second, Ellis.
In favor?
Aye.
Now the fun stuff. I'd like to turn this over to Alderman Kavieski. We have a special presentation and something really wonderful for the community. Alderman Kavieski.
Thank you. I would like to ask Jessica to come up toward the podium, as well as Alderman Rozek, Mr. and Mrs. Suttner as well with your check. We can do a presentation if Lieutenant Tim could come up as well. So over the last several months, there has been an effort by a community group that was actually initiated by Alderman Rozek, myself, and Jessica was kind enough to step in. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called Oconomowoc Supports the Blue. We took a lot of time and energy and effort to put together 2 events, one at Coco's and one at Steel Tank. Between those 2 events and a donation by the Oconomowoc Area Foundation, which was greatly appreciated and significant, and by Craig Schuffelbein, which was presented at the Steel Tank event. We have a check sent to you, $62,000. done some amazing things in our community to help raise money for a variety of community-oriented projects. And they were just recognized by Western Lakes Fire District at the last meeting for their efforts with that organization. And they also have a check to present to the city for the same project and getting body cams to our officers. So, Mr. and Mrs. Sutton.
That being said, we held an event this year. We had a great event with the Cardboard Boat Regatta, which will continue to go on. But we're able to put together between the
Wow.
Here's the real one.
Wow.
I'll
That's
take the big one home
fantastic.
just in case I can. Can we try to cash this? See what happens.
Can we do another one real quick? This is, it's fun.
Down here.
Maybe in the front, because that post is in. Just kidding.
Guys, hey, thanks. Nice seeing you again.
On behalf of the city, the Suttner family and everybody involved in in these efforts, Alderman Kavieski, Alderman Rozak, everybody, thank you very much. Your continued support of the city is very appreciated. Thank you.
One more time.
Just, John, if you do this thing real quick, on behalf of Chief Fisker, who could not be here, we just want to thank you. Lou, Jessica, still here, thank you. Words can't describe how humbled we are, what you have done. I want to thank Coco's, Steel Tank, Buddy's Beach Bungalow, events. Want to thank the mayor, common council, and the community for their support. We are so grateful for the last few months. Chief will say the same thing. We are very humbled by the support for public safety, police and fire. We can't do this alone, and your support is just. We really pride ourselves in community policing, pride ourselves in trust, accountability, and transparency. And this body cameras that we're going to be getting for all officers and squad video is the first step on doing that, and we really appreciate that. So
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other comments or suggestions from citizens? Again, I do not have any blue cards. Any other comments from the community? We're going to move on to consent agenda items. I'd entertain a motion for consent agenda items A and B.
So moved.
Second, Zaffel.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that moves forward. On to committee reports, utilities. Consider act on resolution 21-R2 983 to enter into an asset purchase agreement with Wisconsin Electric Power Company, Southwood Drive, Brown Street, and County Road K.
Correct.
Mr. Pickard.
Yes, so tonight I'm looking for your approval on the asset purchase agreement with We Energies to bring these customers into the Oconomowoc utility versus We Energies service territory, as we have the right to do that by Public Service Commission rules. There's $350,000 in the budget that was earmarked 2 years ago for this, and we've carried it over. The actual asset purchase agreement is $129,577.61, and to reroute the power to serve customers on South Beach Road, there's a price not to exceed $35,000 in payment to We to reroute those lines. It could be less than that, but it will not be more than that. So that brings the total to $164,577.61. So I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Rozak, so moved.
Any further discussion?
Can I just make a comment for the public? that
Lou had
watches?
his hand up first, please. Alderman Kavieski.
I would just like to say that in regards to the public utility, the quality of service that we provide, bringing on these customers as city residents is something I think our residents have come to expect in regards to quality, price, reliability. And not to have them come in as customers of the utility, as members of the community would be a shame. And I don't think we've ever done that before. And if we have, we shouldn't have.
No, there has been past annexations and we took those customers.
Yeah. So this is something good for the community, for the citizens, and for long-term customer base growth.
Alderman Rozak.
Yeah, for the folks that might be watching from Southwood, I did ask questions in the utility committee about this. Couple things. One, there should be a reduction in your electric prices.
24%.
24%, so that's a big deal. Also, my understanding is it increases the footprint of our utility essentially, which can help us as we expand, as we do rate cases, whatever else we have to do in the future. This will help. Even though there's a cost right now, over the course of, we figured 8 to 10 years, we should be able to make that back from just adding those 17, 20 new customers. So I think it's a good move. Those questions were asked, and I think the people in Southwood should be stoked. I know their city taxes went up 2 years ago when we annexed them, but now that they're going to be electric utility users, that hopefully will be some offset for them. So they should be happy. And we kept their numbers the way they were, their house numbers.
Yes, we did.
So we're doing right by Southwood. Thank you.
Any motion has been made, second, any further comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Zaffel.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
On to Plan Commission items. Mr. Gallo. I'm just going to have him come up. He's gone through the core components in the public hearing. I'd like to open it up for any questions that you have for Mr. Gallo. Also want to mention to council, these are ordinance changes, which are first readings. You have the option to waive the first reading, waive the second reading, excuse me. And as you place in your motions, take those into consideration. Mr. Gallo, any comments from you or any questions for Mr. Gallo from the council? Alderman Zapfel?
Just a question for you, Jason. I don't know if you or somebody else in the room can answer. I was watching the City of Brookfield Common Council meeting a couple weeks ago, and I heard the figure that the occupancy rate for apartments in Waukesha County is over 90%. Does that sound accurate?
It'd be more for the applicant. He's here this evening.
Yeah, it's well over 90%. For instance, each week we look at our vacancy rates, and so the Preserve on the northern side of town, I think we have 2 units available for rent, so we're at like 99 point whatever %.
So there's a need for.
There's a need for, yeah, apartments. And I think, you know, these apartments are market rate luxury apartments. I think that's an important thing to kind of stress as we go forward, because, you know, we've been hearing a lot of things about what this product is. And, you know, these are high quality, you know, apartments with market rate rents that'll be even higher than what we have on the north side of town.
Cool. Thank
Great
you.
question.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for the applicant, please address him. He'll be happy to come up. Alderman Rozak?
Yeah, just a few quick questions as we walk through this. And I know we're kind of just on the land use plan change first, but it's kind of all related. So if you don't mind me, on page 84 of the packet, and we talked about in your presentation, the parking counts are going down. I seem to recall that there was something in the Olympia project originally where they had estimated 1.5 stalls anyway, but we were at 2.25 stalls per unit. Now we're going down to 1.5. I'm not opposed to that. I'm just curious if that will reduce the overall size of like the parking lot and the asphalt, because to me that's a good thing probably.
Well, it's funny you bring up parking, because initially when they came forward, I said, show us any possible flexibility that you may need, so we cover it all. Yep. And when I actually did the review, and there's a lot of parking for this site, and we have a requirement of if it's X amount of bedrooms, it requires 2 stalls, and if it's a lower number, it's only, you know, 1.5 stalls. So when I worked out all the calculations, they're only short a couple stalls. And then, now we're adding in another building, and they're pretty much right where they need to be. I mean, they might be really like 1 stall short, is what we're talking.
Of the 2 or the 1.5?
Of what our code requires.
Oh, which is?
Because it's 2 and 1.5, depending on the number of bedrooms.
If they have a 3-bedroom, it would be different. I don't think they have 3 bedrooms.
No, they don't have any 3 bedrooms, no.
Okay. Yeah, then I'm okay with that. The next big topic would be building setbacks. Instead of 20 feet from the front yard, they were requesting a minimum of 10 feet. When we're talking about the front yard, we're not talking between the buildings, we're talking to the roads?
Yeah, I can show you where the setbacks get a little tight right where that, oh, I'm sorry, isn't,
It was up, actually, I was just looking at it, it was just up.
what did I do?
Okay. I think I know where you're talking about, but I think if anyone's watching it, it'd be, there it is.
It's a
Ivan?
display issue. Go to dual display.
Where are we? There we go.
Holy cow, sounds like
Didn't sound
something
good.
shut down.
That didn't sound good. It seemed to change when you moved the computer screen. I
Well,
don't know
while
what
he's figuring that out, I have another question that's maybe you don't need to pulled up, which is the paved surfaces issue. So it says instead of 3 foot and 5 foot setbacks, they're requesting a minimum of 1 foot for paved surfaces. So is that also from the roadway?
Jason, turn the mic toward you, please.
The,
There it is.
okay. Let's talk about some setbacks.
We can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where the building R5 is, in the middle there, where the tip of that building to the cul-de-sac, you can see the cul-de-sac, that, yeah, right there. I don't know who's moving that, but that's Mayor. That's very good. That's, these are some tighter
Goes to
setbacks than
City Hall.
what's normally allowed.
Okay.
And then there's some pavement setbacks, like, you can,
Well, what's a pavement setback? I guess I've never even heard of
the
that.
parking lot.
Oh, so that's a parking lot.
From a setback area, and they're pretty good on most of them. I think, again, they weren't sure how tight they were gonna be. I think,
And you mean in the pavement setbacks, the pavement from the building itself?
right in here, that might be pretty tight. But then they own this now, and that has since gone away. So let's bring in the new site plan. So I think they initially requested the PD because they needed that first plan approved so they could get going on that.
Right.
Now that they're coming back, some of those things may have gone away with the acquisition of that land and combining that in. So
I just don't want, I'm in favor of it, I'm gonna vote in favor of it. I just don't want, when I saw those changes, I don't want these buildings to look like they're all on top of each other with parking lots and pavements and everything all up to each other and very little green space, because I think that takes away from what, the concept of the development is. And if you feel that what they're proposing for these is not gonna deteriorate from that, I'm okay with it. You're the planner, but
well, it's going to be tight. There's a lot of space to the north of the pond, and there's some green space up there, and there's green space down below this roadway that's heading north, currently it goes to the east. That's going to go directly south, and that road's going to go away once that's connected. So there's going to be some more green space in there in the future. It's going to be a tight site. There's a lot in there, but it's a good spot for this type of development, off the road a little bit, tucked in there. I think this is going to be a very successful project.
Mr. Maroney, do you have any comments to add to that or no? I just want to make sure we're all clear. Sorry to bring you up, but I think it's important.
No, I'm always happy to talk to the council, so there's some easements and setback issues that we're kind of designing around, and now that we have that keyhole piece, we're able to expand it a little bit more, but we still want to have the flexibility. I think what you're seeing here as far as the site plan goes is it is what's going to be built. Actually, this is the final site plan. And you'll notice there's quite a bit of green space in between building 5 and 6 or 8, I can't tell, right between those two buildings as we go forward. And Jason's right, the road back behind there, hopefully that will be going away if we can get all the easements removed, and we're working on that and making some progress on that as well.
Because that's going to be like its own little enclave there without essentially, the entrance is going to be through this little roundabout area.
Correct.
The cul-de-sac, and you don't want the road to go up to that side.
Correct.
Okay.
You
Because that's a
got it.
temporary road for access for the other condo owners and stuff. on the
Correct.
other
You
side.
got it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thanks.
All right, and to dispel the rumor that's out there as well, it's still going to be Olympia Fields, not Olympia Dunes, just so you know.
That was just from me. It did look like I was in Great Sand Dune National Park though the other day. It was awesome.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Question for Matt, and it might answer part of your question. You mentioned the preserve. This is a little tight, but how does this feel compared to the preserve? Because we kind of all know how that project feels.
This is a little tighter than the preserve, there's no doubt about it, but from our standpoint, we are pretty excited about this project because we have the nice walkway going around the stormwater feature. We're gonna improve the pond, so I think there's a lot of reasons for people to get outdoors there. And then in the little open space between building 7 and building 2, we're probably gonna look at having like a little dog park area as well, and that, kind of feature. So we think this is gonna be, from a variety of standpoints, probably an even more popular project than what we have at the preserve, and we have a very high demand there.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Kavieski.
So with the addition of Building 7, there was a lot of time put into the architectural style of everything. That'll comply fully with that. I wouldn't expect it wouldn't, but I want to make sure that that adheres to that.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, I have one other question for Matt
Go ahead.
while he's up here.
Are you done, Lou?
And on the letter that you guys sent on August 5th, 2021, you guys mentioned at the bottom of the first paragraph on page, what was 89, but page 2 of your letter, it says, with potential future land acquisition, our team believes that this location would ideally contain 225 to 236 units in total. So obviously there's a plan to put more units in somewhere else in this development that was not as part of the plan right now?
So if we would like to purchase some additional land from the Basari estate. We know that's kind of where
On the other side of the pond?
No, well, it would probably go, because Paps Road kind of comes in at an angle like that, we'd
Right.
probably put some more units towards Paps Road, just to kind of logically continue down.
Okay.
So, and if we were able to purchase back behind where the old Kmart is as well, that could be apartments, that could be senior housing, that could be a couple different things, but that would be kind of in our mind, kind of, some logical transitions that could happen there. I don't know, Jason, if you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, so where would you go with
Can you
this?
reflect that?
Oh, I see, on the other side of Paps Roads there, where the little pond,
Yeah, and
stream
that
is or
little
whatever?
area, yeah, we just kind of would kind of ring down that way.
Connect right off, which would be behind the commercial, which would probably be an ideal spot for it,
Correct.
right? Okay.
You got it.
Okay, fair enough.
Any other questions? Alderman Mulder, we want to make sure we stay focused on the agenda items, just so that because they're publicly noticed. Alderman Mulder.
This, not really related, just a question for you.
Yeah.
But on the far side of the pond that you don't own, you don't have any plans to restore that part of the,
So
Or are you going to work with them?
we're working with, I've got a meeting on Friday with the vacation owners, and, I have a meeting that will be scheduled soon with the condo owners to talk about that.
okay.
So,
'Cause
Yep.
that would be, yeah, it's a little rough over there, so.
yeah.
Any further comments for Mr. Maroney or Jason?
I've got
Alderman
one for Jason.
Shellpepper.
I got one for Jason. This
Jason.
doesn't change it. Does this change anything from the city's perspective in terms of infrastructure, installation, just anything in our plans? This building and what we're doing over there in terms of the TIF?
Tonight, we're talking about just adding Building 7, and we previously designed all the infrastructure for the other 6 buildings, so this is just going to kind of feed into all of that.
Okay,
So it's really no change.
sounds good.
Alderman Rozak.
So just some general comments about the whole project in general. When the project was first proposed, the proposal was to change and put apartments into the old Olympia. We granted a zoning request. I was opposed to any changes moving forward. Moving forward, though, Vanguard did what council at that time, about a year and a half ago, give or take, asked them to do, which is master plan the area. come up with a master plan that we can live with, that we can support, that we ended up providing a TIF for. And then when you come forward with changes like this, different than what we did several weeks ago with Journey 21, what we did a year ago with Hackney, where we're just allowing a developer to piecemeal development and not create a new master plan on what was a TIF as well. This is the way it should work, right? What we've done before on the other side is not the way it should work. So what Vanguard's doing now is the right thing. They've master planned the site, they've given us a vision, they bought some land in the corner and say, hey, we can fit another one in here and this will work with our plan. This is the way it should be done. So I applaud you and Vanguard for doing it the right way and kind of following what we've wanted to happen in this area. And it makes sense and it's easy for me to vote on this kind of project. Not easy when it's piecemeal like we're doing on the other side of the street.
Alderman Kavieski.
Quick question, because Pastor Rhodes came up here. Originally, the portion of the strip mall where Kmart is, that was gonna be removed with a 2-story MOB. That's not necessarily reflected in this. Is that changed?
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. Since we originally planned this, steel prices have skyrocketed. And so as we're taking a look at the project, we would now that we own that donut hole, that middle city parcel, so we'd move the medical office building up, it's kind of just to the east of the keyhole a little bit. That's that square building right there in the middle.
Gotcha.
Does this thing work here? Oh yeah, right here. There you go, right there. And we would put a new facade on the Kmart building and all that. And we are working with a couple potential tenants for that building right now. So in the end, I mean, we know we've got to hit an increment goal,
Yep.
for us to be successful and for you to be successful, and that's what we're going to do. So.
I appreciate the additional information on that, because the last time we kind of came around to that was part of the master plan. And again, that was the directive, and that is the right way to go about it. And it sounds like you'll maintain more square footage for retail and add some capacity for office in that area. So I think it's a good play.
Thank you.
Any further questions, comments from council for Mr. Gallo, Mr. Maroney? I'd like to begin by going through each one of these items, and remember they are either a first reading or you may present your motion to waive the second reading. That's your choice.
I'll move to
Let's-
amend, I'll move to amend the City of Economowoc Comprehensive Land Use Plan for Olympia Fields and waiving the second reading.
Second, Zaffel.
Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Zaffel.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye. One moment, please.
Can I suggest that each of these approvals be contingent upon the closing of the sale of the land from the city to the developer, and that it does not take effect if somehow that closing does not go through?
And
I
that was-
apologize for not raising that
Yeah.
at the time.
Well, we need to do something with the one we just approved then, the comprehensive
Yes,
land use plan?
all four.
All of them, and it was also a recommendation from Plan Commission to do the same thing.
Well, there's 5 of them. First of all, there's 5 of them.
Okay, all 5. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I'll withdraw my second.
Well, it's too late. We've already voted on it. So what do you want us to do?
You can
Motion
make a new
reconsider.
motion.
Okay, I'll move to reconsider.
Second.
All in favor?
Give me a
Aye.
second.
Okay, then
Okay.
I'll make a new motion then to waiving the second reading that we amend.
One
Yeah,
moment,
forget it.
please. We're
okay.
waiting for the
No,
computer.
forget it. I can't get to it. So
Can you handwrite it?
we'll go take it off the tape. Yeah, I mean, I can jot things down, but we'll take it off the tape. Once
She's
the motion's
got a
made and I've approved
She's got
it,
a program.
it's
Oh,
very,
okay.
it doesn't work as well.
Okay.
So I was just saying make another motion, but rescinding is a whole nother
Okay.
animal.
What we'll do is we'll manage the logistics.
We'll rescind it.
Diane will rescind it as stated. That the new motion has been made by Alderman Rozak. Did you complete it?
Yeah, just amend the comprehensive land use plan for Olympia Fields, waiving the second reading contingent upon the closing of the sale of the city properties to Olympia Fields.
So we have a
Zaffel.
second.
Yeah, and
Mulder,
the second was
second,
by who?
Zaffel.
Zaffel. Thank
Any
you.
further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Zaffel.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Okay.
I'd like to entertain another motion for item 9B.
I'll move to rezone lands residential multi-high with regard to the planned development overlay for Olympia Fields, waiving the second reading contingent upon the sale of the city properties to Olympia Fields Development.
Second, Zaffel.
Ellis.
Seconds from Ellis. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper,
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski,
Aye.
Alderman Rozak,
Aye.
Alderman Zappel,
Aye.
Alderman Ellis,
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg,
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
On to item 9C.
I'll move to amend the planned development with the underlying zoning for Olympia Fields apartment, waiving the second reading contingent upon the sale of the city property to Olympia Fields Development.
Second, Zaffel.
Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper,
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski,
Aye.
Alderman Rozak,
Aye.
Alderman Zappel,
Aye.
Alderman Ellis,
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg,
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
On to item 9D.
This one I'll just move to approve the certified survey map reconfiguring 2 lots at 1350 Royal Mile Road, being just contingent upon the sale of the city properties to Olympia.
Second, Ellis.
There's no first or second reading with that, is my understanding.
Correct, it's not an ordinance. So any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper,
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski,
Aye.
Alderman Rozak,
Aye.
Alderman Zappel,
Aye.
Alderman Ellis,
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg,
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Item 9E.
I'll move to approve the certified survey map reconfiguring 3 lots and 1 outlot at 1375 Royal Mile Road, contingent upon the sale of the city parcels to Olympia Fields.
Second, Ellis.
Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shell Pepper,
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski,
Aye.
Alderman Rozak,
Aye.
Alderman Zappel, Alderman Ellis,
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg,
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on. Thank you for coming, everybody. On to staff reports.
We have item 10.
Yeah. First staff report, I'd actually like to have Mark Fry please come to the podium. I'd like to bring to council for consideration the appointment of Mark Fry to, at least I didn't call you
Mike is his
Craig.
brother, right? I think Mike is his brother, I think.
My new year?
Mark Fry is your interim city administrator, effective pending your approval. I'd like to leave it open. Mark, would you like to start with any opening comments? And Alderman, at any point, you're welcome to ask questions before this appointment is brought to a vote.
Sure, just a couple quick words. I'm very appreciative of this opportunity. As you know, I've worked for the city for over 30 years, and, with the recent resignation, this became an opportunity for me to be able to step in and assist the city as we go through the process of looking to hire another administrator, so I look forward to doing this.
I'd like to open it for comments for Mr. Fry. Alderman Rozak.
Yeah, Mark, thanks for stepping up and being willing to help. I've known you for, I think going on 7 years, and we've had a lot of dealings over the years. I've always appreciated your professionalism, and I think this is an excellent appointment by the mayor on a temporary basis. You've got my full support. I'm willing to help in any way as you move forward with this role. And I appreciate the ability to do this confirmation process. Obviously very different than a real, the full-time administrator, because we know you,
Yeah, name's Mike,
Yeah. So I
think
appreciate
that
you,
might stick.
Yeah, I appreciate you stepping up to help the city at its, in this time and an unexpected resignation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Thank you also. Mark, we know that you were in the top 3. We know there was a lot of talent in the city that kind of threw their hats in the ring. But we do appreciate all your tenure that you bring to this city and what you'll bring to this interim role. Hoping for optics' sake that we get a unanimous vote on this. And we look forward to working with you over the next few months. So.
Thank you.
And just a comment to inform council, what we've done is I had both your council president and vice president involved in this entire process. So they knew a lot more details of all of the situations with the recent departure of Mr. Trepetoski and the search and how we're going to replace this and put in somebody in this interim position so we can keep our doors open and really focus on operations. So Karen Matt, thank you very much because it took a lot of time out of your day and appreciate that engagement. That was a great service to the city. Alderman Kavieski.
Appreciate the time earlier today, as well as what has been expressed thus far. I am very supportive of you in this role, and I know your work ethic is one that nobody can question. You are here early, you stay late, and it'll be fun to watch you fill this role, because I think you'll do a good job in it. And one of the challenges will be to help bring that communication together from all the departments, as a city administrator needs to do, to provide not only the information to council, but to the community. And I think that'll be one of the challenges that will be taken on by you and done well. So I look forward to additional communication to come from you.
Thank you.
Any other comments for Mr. Fry? Any questions that you may have, council? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this recommendation and appointment per council.
So moved, Ellis.
Second, Kavieski.
Any further comments or discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Zappel. Alderman Ellis.
Is this for Mike or for?
Motion.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Unanimous. Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye. This is one time I wish I did have a vote.
It'd
I'm
only
not
be
telling you
one.
what it would be.
It'd only be one.
And what I can say to council too, we met this morning with the department heads, and I'm really, really pleased. I think we should all be incredibly appreciative and supportive of all of our department heads who, before any of this happened, they all rallied, they all came to my office. How can I help? What can I do? Same thing happened when we got the surprise from Sarah Kitzenbell. So the strength of this city, no offense, is not the elected officials. It's the staff and what they do every day. And Mark, we're leaning on you very, very heavy, because not only are we asking you to fill this role, I know we're going to be working a lot with other department heads. They're going to be doing a lot more so that we can divvy up the load. But we're asking somebody to do something in a full-time position when they already have a full-time job that they do at a very high level. So my hat's off to you, sir. Also to the community, all of our department folks here. A special thanks to Tony. Tony, thank you for helping us maneuver through this whole process over the last 3 weeks. Really, really appreciate it. And I just want to make sure that the council really understands all of the different dynamics that our city staff has done, and it's been exceptional, and thank you all. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It's all yours, baby.
Thank you.
So, Mark, you have another staff update for us.
Sure. Normally, if I wanted to see the time, I'd have to look behind me, but tonight, we happen to have an extra piece in the room here. This clock was on the property at 517 North Lake Road, and before we demolitioned the house, I had our crew go up and take it down because I didn't want it to get damaged. It didn't look anything like this. It didn't work at all. Local gentleman in the city by the name of Rich Gilbert lives up by the hospital off Summit Avenue on Wood Drive. He has a clock just like this in his yard. The gentleman's a true craftsman. He took it all apart, rebuilt it all, new parts in there, got everything working, got the lights working. He cut his hourly rate that he normally charges, and he didn't charge any markup on any of the parts. So I think this is piece kind of signifies the level of quality that we're going to look at up on that park. We did bring it in here so that, people could see it, but we also need a place to store it until we move forward in the park and have a permanent home for it, so.
Yeah,
It
is kind of cool, yeah.
He did an excellent job. I mean, this
Yeah.
is just unbelievable.
I'd like to meet him. That's
Yeah.
pretty special. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
On to some other staff reports. I'm going to turn it over to Diane Conan with some preliminary election results.
Thank you, Mayor. I have been given the results for the District 3 Alderman race. Now, these are the unofficial results. We will be doing our canvass tomorrow at 10:30 to verify the results. So unofficially, We have candidate Scott Carter with 152 votes and candidate Christopher Douglas with 195. So unofficially, Mr. Douglas, at this point, we'll verify that tomorrow and see then that you'll probably be our District 3 Alderman.
Oh, boy, here we go. Jeez. That was going to get better.
This is going to add some excitement. I love it. Mr. Douglas, would you like to approach council? And if you have any comments, you're welcome. I know I'm just throwing this out to you, but one, congratulations, and we'll have to make it official tomorrow as stated, but thank you for putting your ring in the hat. I know that we all look forward to working with you.
That was hat in the ring.
Ring in the
You know
hat,
what he meant.
yeah. The dyslexia comes back once in a while. But yeah.
No, I appreciate it. It was
Sorry.
eye-opening running for the position. It was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Definitely learned a lot talking to some of the aldermen, going out knocking on doors, talking to the citizens of what they wanted. It was a interesting thing to go through, and look forward to the next meeting to be able to sit on council and continue to learn more.
Great. Congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Great. Do we have any other staff reports? I'm not sure if I'm aware of any. Mark, do we have any more? Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. We'll turn and move on to reports and comments from aldermen. Alderman Mulder.
If I'm recalling, a couple months ago, we made the decision to try to share via video, via the YouTube, some of the different channels, and I don't think that's happened yet. And I know I've seen out the group that is interested in retaining the dispatch has been asking for that publicly out there for, I think, in October when we have the report. So I think I don't know what it takes to move that forward, but I think it's time to do that, and especially now that, we are being specifically asked to have that, so.
There are several things that have been in the queue. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but that's something Mr. Fry will address and try to meet those expectations if we can. Alderman Zapfel?
Sure, I just want to give congratulations to the high school football team,
Yeah.
Coach Logie, the seniors. I got a call this past Friday night. I was at the Brewers game. It was my son. All I hear is screaming and yelling, "Dad, Dad, I'm at the most important sporting event I've ever been to." I was like, "Okay, what's that?" He's like, "We beat Muskego." We haven't beat Muskego. They had a 41-game winning streak. The seniors have never beat Muskego since 4th grade. So I just want to give kudos to Coach Logie, the seniors, and the rest of the football team on your well-deserved win, and looking forward to a good rest of the season. Congratulations, boys.
Yep. Alderman Ellis.
Yeah, a couple of things. First off, I've gotten a number of phone calls on the Summit and Worthington in reference to a stop sign. Second, excuse me, and Worthington. And I'm wondering if we can kind of put that on the agenda or something and talk about that at all?
Yeah, we've discussed that and should hopefully be on the next agenda.
Excellent. The other thing I want to talk about is a little more serious as far as I'm looking at the safety of both of Oconomowoc and also going forward, what I believe we really need to start looking into, and that is this. When I was first elected, I kind of brought up the fact that I felt as though the job of the mayor as a part-time employee was one that was very unfair because of the amount of pressure, because of the amount of work, because of the day-to-day grind. I felt as though it should be more of a full-time position than it should be a part-time position. It has been brought to, this is the second time we've had to go through this with a city administrator leaving. And what this does is it puts a lot of pressure on the mayor, more so than what I believe part-time for 2 years is really fair. Also, by the time the second year begins or at the end of the first year, you're getting your feet wet, and now you got to start thinking about whether or not you're going to run again, more so than you are thinking about, or hopefully you're thinking about the city, but you've got a whole another dynamic there. So I'd really like to begin to start the process of talking about really the mayor's job really should be. Should it be a 4-year job? Should it be a 3-year job? Should it be full-time? I personally think it should be a full-time job with staff, which means that we would be thinking about taking the city administrative job away and utilizing that in a different fashion. I'd really like to begin the process of having some communication on that. Thank you. Oh, wait, I forgot one other thing. That's also Alderman too, because what I'm finding out is that we've got a really good crew of individuals right now, and as soon as we get our feet wet, as soon as we begin to get into a project, we almost have to step back because now we have to start talking about reelection. And I want to have the opportunity to really get our teeth into a lot of these projects, see them through their finale so that we can go forward. So I kind of want to put all that on the table.
If you address that with Mr. Fry, that would be the best channel to start.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Rozak.
Yeah, Chris, welcome. If those election results are confirmed, I'm happy to give you a highlighted budget book next week after I go through it, just so you got to have a couple good ideas. But welcome, Mark, again, welcome. One thing I didn't mention when Mark was up here was, and I think the mayor did kind of touch on this, because Karen and I were involved in the process, there were a lot of folks and department heads in the city that stepped up and said they were, and really were willing to jump into that role and take that on for however long that could be. And this could be a 3-month process, it could be a 6-month process, you know, maybe we might not find someone the first round. So I really appreciate everyone. I don't think the fact that one department head was picked over others, it means anyone's not as good. But sometimes just, you know, a good fit at the right time is kind of what we were looking for. So everyone that did step up or consider doing it, we really appreciate everyone that stepped up. That was awesome. And that was it. Thanks.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Just a reminder for anyone who is interested that Julie Ellis's memorial service will be this Friday at 6:30 at Spring Creek Church.
I was going to end with that, and I really do appreciate it. I want to, I'm sorry, I wanted to, I wanted to publicly thank Karen for coming alongside me and at this time and helping me the way you did with the, with what you wrote. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. I take no credit for it. It was all you, and I thank you for the time and effort that you put into it. Thank you.
Any further comments from Alderman? I have no additional comments from the mayor. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Kavieski.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.